wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good afternoon. How's it going? I hope you guys are doing well. Uh, Let me introduce myself first. My name is Hadir this group webinar. And firstly, let's pray our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala because of Him virtually in this opportunity. And let's thanks to Miss Arini as the main initiator and as the supervisor, and of course to this webinar series so well and so perfectly. Okay, the general theme that we will bring today is vocabulary, foundation of English language system. This topic will be so interesting. And that will be 9% that will deliver their own each materials. So let's say hi to all of them. Firstly, there is Kawita. Hello Kawita, introduce yourself please.
Hello everyone, my name is Vita Camelia. Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you too, Kawita. The second presenter, there is Salsa.
Hello everyone, my name is Alpha.
Okay. The third presenter. I'm sorry, Kawita, but your mic's off.
I'm sorry. Hello everyone, my name is Suchi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And then the fourth, Siti Maruya.
Hi everyone, my name is Siti Maruya.
Okay. The fifth presenter, there is Kapuput.
Hello, I am Puput.
There is Kanisa.
Hello, my name is Anissa. Nice to meet you.
And then there is Pani.
Hello everyone, my name is Anusmia.
And there is Kak Ari.
Hello everyone, my name is Arif Wahid. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Kak Ari. And the last presenter of this group is Kak Tartila. Hello, Kak Tartila.
Hello everyone, my name is Tatila Fitrianisa.
Okay. And then, before we go to the main session, there are some rules or regulations that we should follow. Number one, this webinar will last 1 hour. Number two, the only language used to communicate is English. Number three, all participants are suggested to take notes during the presentation. Number four, all participants must turn off the audio during the presentation. The next point is the presentation will be held in 5 minutes for each presenter. And then the moderator will set the time to remind the presenter. And then the Q&A session will come after the whole presentation. Questions can be typed in the chat box, or if you want to have interactive interaction with the presenter, you could turn on your microphone and then speak up your questions. And last, if you could not get your answers, the presenters will send the answer via email. From the regulation that Arif just read, is there any questions? All right. If there's no question, we could move to the main session. The first presenters that will present today is Kawita. Hello, Kawita.
Hello.
Okay. Kawita, can you tell us a little bit about material that you want to deliver this time?
Alright, so today I want to talk about the whole of vocabulary, and also I want to explain some strategies.
All right. Okay, Kawita, 5 minutes from now, the time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Sen, the home of vocabulary. Next, please. So my presentation will be divided into 4 parts. The first is what is the whole of vocabulary, and the second is why you should sharpen your vocabulary, and the third is how to sharpen your vocabulary, and the fourth is conclusion. Next. All right, so let's see the first part. What is the whole of vocabulary? Let me explain. The word hone is synonym with the word sharpen. It means that these two words have some same meaning. Hone or sharpen means to make something sharper or to improve, according to Cambridge Dictionary 2021. And vocabulary is a core component of language proficiency and provides much of the basis for how learners speak, listen, read, and write. Richards and Renania claimed 2002. So the whole of vocabulary is to make vocabularies to make your vocabulary sharper or to improve your vocabulary. Next, please. All right, thank you. So according to Lincoln University, the English language is among the most to understand and use a wide range of general, common vocabulary, and more. So it is important to sharpen your vocabulary, and you need strategies to understanding new words when you meet them in readings, lectures, and more. And also choose which words to learn and learning new words. Next, please. All right, so this is the third part, how to sharpen your vocabulary. Here I have some strategies based on Professor Paul Nation work from Victoria University, 2001. Here is the strategies. Number 1 is guessing words from context. To guess words from context, look at the part of speech, words and clauses before and after the unknown word, meaning relationships like cause and effect, connection clues like conjunctions and linking words. Then check your guess. Use the grammatical and meaning clues in the sentence and in adjoining sentences to guess the meaning. And number 2 is using word parts. There are 3 word parts: prefix, root, and suffix. Prefix is a letter or a group of letters that added to the beginning of the word. And root is the basic of the word with no prefix and suffix. And suffix is a letter or a group of letters that added to the end of the word. Number 3 is using a dictionary. Of course, you need a dictionary. And in this case, on word. Number 4 is Hive. You will find glossaries and subject dictionaries and also useful sources. Number 6 is learning new words. For learning new words, you can use word cards and you can practice like after an hour, a day, a week, as much as you can. And don't forget to trying to recall its meaning before checking it, because it is better than reading lists of words with translations beside them. And learn sets different of words is more effective than trying to learn sets of words with similar meanings or spellings. And the last strategy is enriching and expanding your vocabulary knowledge. So make sure that you learn all the different aspects of a word, not only about the meaning, but also like how to pronounce the word, what is the synonyms of the word, it's like that. And if you want to enrich and expand your vocabulary, pay attention to these two kinds of vocabulary. The first is receptive vocabulary, and the second is productive vocabulary. So the more often you encounter a word, the better you will learn it. Read as widely as possible, and next, please. This is the last part, conclusion. I can conclude that the Hound of Vocabulary means to sharpen or improve your vocabulary skill through some strategies based on Professor Paul Nation, 2001. The strategies are guessing high frequency words, learning and expanding your vocabulary. Next, please. This is the references that I use, and that's all from me. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to the moderator.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for it was a very great delivery. And now we could directly move to the next presenter. There is Kasalsa. Hello, Kasalsa. Okay, Kasalsa, it seems like you want to deliver about the most common difficulties in vocabulary. Can you tell us why do you choose this topic as your presentation?
The reason why I choose this topic because sometimes I feel like the vocabulary is difficult, but after I search the difficulties, I think I can learn the vocabulary. I think that's all.
All right. Okay, Kasalsa, you can directly continue your presentation. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Nahal. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Salsa Ramadhania Putriaru from English Education Department of Siliwangi University. And now I'm going to talk about the most common difficulties in vocabulary learning. Okay, today's presentation will be divided into 4 parts. The first is definition of vocabulary. Second, the importance of vocabulary. The third, how to increase the vocabulary. And last, the difficulties in vocabulary learning. Next. Okay, let's move to the first part, definition of vocabulary. Vocabulary is the basic language aspect that must be mastered before mastering English skills. And according to Hornby 2006, vocabulary is all the words that a person knows or uses, and it is all the words in a particular language. Next, the importance of vocabulary. According to Tosco and Poadi 2004, learning vocabulary is an important aspect of language skill and foreign language acquisition, an academic achievement, and is vital to reading comprehension and proficiency, to which it is closely linked. In short, vocabulary is the first and foremost important step in language acquisition. Next. And how to increase the vocabulary. There are 3 fun ways how to increase your vocabulary. The first, using a song. Law and Lee 1998, page 9, state song provide a break from classroom routine, and that learning English through song develop a classroom atmosphere in which the 4 language skill can be enhanced. The second, using short story. Pardede 2011 state the majority of English teachers training students found short stories interesting to use both as materials for self-enjoyment and of as components language skill classes. And the last, using games. Rickson 1992 page 82 state, games help students revise vocabulary, and recalling something that happened in a game may help a student remember the language connected with it. Next. Okay, the difficulties in vocabulary learning. The first step in successful learning or teaching vocabulary is to identify the difficulties that are faced. And according to Thornbury 2004, there are some factors that make some words difficult. The first is pronunciation. Research shows that words are difficult to pronounce are more difficult to learn. If we find a word that is difficult to pronounce, it will be forgotten if we read it once, and maybe it will take a long time to remember that word. So we should take a note of how to pronounce the word. It will help us how to pronounce that word correctly and also easier to remember. The second is spelling. Some spelling mismatches are likely to be the case of error, either of pronunciation or spelling, and can contribute to words difficulty. While most English spelling is fairly low editing, there are also some glaring irregularities. So that we should read the word carefully and don't forget to take a note, because take a note will help you easier to remember your vocabulary. Next is length and complexity. Long words are more often difficult to learn than short ones, right? But as a rule of thumb, high-frequency words tend to be short in English, and therefore, the learner is likely to meet them more often, a factor favoring their learnability. So, how to face this factor? How to face this factor is by increasing our motivation to learn. Besides, we must enjoy learning vocabulary. Next is grammar. If this differs from that of its L1 equivalent, remembering whether a verb like enjoy, love, or hope is followed by an infinitive or an in form can add to its difficulty. Next is range, connotation, and idiomatic. Words that can be used in a wide context will generally be perceived as easier than their synonyms with a narrower range. How to face them is to know even more. Last but not least is meaning. When two words overlap in meaning, is when we make a note, we should find the synonym of that word. So it will make us have a lot of vocabulary. Next. Okay, conclusion from this vocabulary is learning vocabulary very face. The key point in how to face the difficulties are taken up and practice a lot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kasalsa, for your presentation about the most common difficulties in vocabulary learning. I hope the presentation that Kasalsa just brought helped you a lot. And then the third presenter is Kawidi. Hello, Kawidi. Are you ready, Kawidi?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. It seems that you want to deliver about how to deal with the problems of vocabulary. Can you tell us a little bit why do you choose this topic, Kawidi?
Right. I chose the materials because, in my opinion, that these materials will be useful for all the participants or students to dealing with the problems of vocabulary. That's all.
All right. Okay, Kawidi. 5 minutes from now, the time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to attended this webinar for all the participants. Let me introduce myself. My name is Widinan Suci from English Education Department. In this occasion, I would like to explain about how to deal with the problems of vocabulary. Next. Right. Vocabulary is the collection of words that a person knows. Linz, 2005. And why is it important? Vocabulary has an important role in learning English. It is one of the aspects that malware is an example of a computer virus. If the student AB doesn't know the meaning of the Lehigh malware, he can see from the context the Lehigh malware is an example of a computer virus. It means that the Lehigh malware has the same meaning with the meaning finding the meaning of words by using several supporting mechanisms such as dictionary, Google Translate, and so on. Let's move to the next slide, please. All right. Here are the second problem, how to maintain newly learned words in long-term memory and memorize them at will. We are going to use these three strategies. First is memory strategies. These strategies aim to assist students to learn new words through a mental process. These strategies include do on conversations with friends while use the words you have learned before. The second is cognitive strategies. These strategies include write the words and its meaning and stick it on the wall. It will help you to remember the new word in long-term memory. And the last is metacognitive strategies. These strategies aim to help students to remember the new words by watching English movies with subtitles. Next, please. And in conclusion, vocabulary learning strategies or VLSS can be used for vocabulary problems that are all existing problems can use vocabulary learning strategies or VLSS. Next, here are some references that I use. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to the moderator.
Okay, waiting for your presentation. And because the limit center, there is Kak Siti Marwia. Hello, Kak Siti.
Hello.
Okay, Kak Siti, it seems that you want to deliver about the strategies to teach vocabulary to young learners. Can you tell us why do you choose young?
Hello. Can you hear my voice?
Directly start your presentation. 5 minutes from now, the time is yours. Okay.
All right. Thank you for the times. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I would like to say thank you so much for your participation. I hope all of you in a good condition today. I am Siti Maruya. In this occasion, I would like to present the strategies to teach vocabulary to young learners. Next. My presentation is divided into 4 parts. The first is definition of vocabulary. Second is the importance of the strategies to teach vocabulary. The third is how to teach vocabulary to young learners, and the last, conclusion. All right, next to the first part. What is vocabulary? Hedge and Brown in 1995 claimed that vocabulary is a list or set of words for a specific language or a list of words that individual language speakers might use. Therefore, why the strategies to teach vocabulary is important? Next slide, please. The strategies to teach vocabulary is important to young learners because it can help them to improve and develop their vocabulary knowledge. Ferreira 2007 stated that vocabulary teaching strategies is required to help students develop the type of vocabulary knowledge that will contribute to their language learning success. Moreover, there are some strategies that can be used by teachers based on Beshawitz and Fisher in 2015. Next slide, please. And here are the strategies that can be used by teacher based on Beshawitz and Fisher in 2015. The first guideline is provide rich and varied language experiences. The strategies are flooding classroom with print, simple word lesson, focused instruction, and wide reading. Here, the teacher can use word cards or flashcards to explain the new words. And do not forget to provide enough repetition so the young learners can get understanding what we are saying. And the next guideline is teach individual words. The strategies are simple word lesson, focused instruction, and use word definition. Here, the teacher can use L1 as a resource to expand the new words, or the teacher can use picture, or let students to draw, say, write, or even physically demonstrate the new words. So, from a mental image connected to the meaning of new words. And the next guideline is teach word learning strategies. Students self-control of learning morphemic analysis, contextual analysis, and dictionary use. The teacher can teach different word forms, for example, sleep, sleeping, sleepy, sleepless, and so on. And do not forget to make daily dictionaries. And the last guideline is foster word consciousness. The teacher can use word games and word play. So by using this wordplay, it makes the young learners more fun to learn and do not get bored quickly. And also do not forget to give a reward to their learners because it will increase their motivation to learn the new vocabulary. All right, next to the last part. It can be concluded that the strategies of good vocabulary instruction by Blashowitz and Fisher in 2015 are flooding classroom with print, simple word lesson, focused instruction, wide reading, use word definitions, student self-control of learning morphemic analysis, contextual analysis, and dictionary use. And also do not forget to use word games and word play. All right, that's all from me. I apologize if I have made a mistakes. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Kak Siti Marwiyah, for your explanation about how to teach young learners to improve our vocabulary. And the next presenter is Kak Puput. Hello, Kak Puput.
Hi.
Okay, Kak Puput, can you tell us what material that you want to deliver this time?
Oh, pardon me?
Can you tell us what material that you want to deliver this time?
I will share about the strategies to learn vocabulary.
Okay, it seems so interesting. And 5 minutes from now, the time is yours, Kak Puput.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start my presentation, I want to make sure, is my voice clear?
Yes.
Can you see my slide?
Yes.
All right, thank you. In this occasion, I will talk about start building your new English vocabulary as a second language. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Siti Puput Herwati, the student of English Education Department of Siliwangi University. Next slide. In this occasion, I will talk about what is vocabulary. The second, why vocabulary is important. The third, how to start building a new vocabulary. And the last is conclusion. Next. The first point, what is vocabulary? Here I include the definition of vocabulary by Stephen Saul in 2005. Said, vocabulary knowledge is knowledge. The knowledge of a word not only implies the definition, but also implies how that word fits into the world. Therefore, vocabulary knowledge is not something that can ever be fully mastered. It is something that expands and deepens over the course of a lifetime. Next. Why we should start building our vocabulary? Of course, because vocabulary is important. According to Schmidt in 2000 said, vocabulary is considered essential to successful for second or foreign language. Additionally, vocabulary knowledge assists learners to communicate effectively and perform successfully in all related skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Therefore, it is clear that if we have a lot of vocabularies, it makes us easy to understand the second language. Next. How we start building new vocabulary? Al-Harbi mentioned that there are 5 strategies to start building our vocabulary. The first, building synonyms network. In this strategy, you have to focus on synonyms of new words. Students pay attention to synonyms orally as the information such as definition, context of word, and part of speech. The second, learning definition with the context. This strategy helps to determine the context of new word and connect the right meanings or definition to it. In this strategy, students guess the meaning from the context, see new word in examples, visualize new word, and memorize word context, remember its meaning. The third, listening and pronunciation strategy. There are steps to examine the process of practicing the sound systems of new word and learn how to pronounce them, including the students are checking new word syllables, listening to real conversation and media, and using this new word in speaking and writing. Fourth, bookmark strategy. This strategy makes a better vocabulary retention and repetition for practices of the students, including the students are using vocabulary notebook, rechecking new word, reviewing a vocabulary list, and checking an online dictionary. And the last, remembering strategy for writing. For writing. In this strategy, students look for specific information in helping them write new words, and such as part of speech, syllables, and technically, they check part of speech before meaning, use a new word in speaking and writing task, and check the syllables to learn how it's spelling. Next. The last part is conclusion. In conclusion, vocabulary is the knowledge of word and word meanings that expand and deepen over the course of a lifetime. Vocabulary is important because it makes us easy to understand the second language, such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The strategies to start building vocabulary are building synonyms network, learning definition with the context, listening and pronunciation strategy, bookmark strategy. Forgive me if there are any mistakes. Hopefully it will be useful for us. Thank you so much for your nice attention.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Kak Puput, for your presentation. And now let's move to the next presenter. There is Kak Anissa. Hello, Kak Anissa. Are you ready, Kak Anissa?
Hello, I'm ready.
Okay, if you are ready, you can start your presentation 5 minutes from now.
Thank you, Nah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anissa Sofia Tunisa, student of English Education Department from Siliwangi University. Today, I would like to present about the ways to increase your children's vocabulary. My presentation divided into 4 parts, such as what is vocabulary, why vocabulary is important, the step to increase your children's vocabulary, and the last part is conclusion. Many parents recognize the importance of children mastering a foreign language, especially English. However, they are confused when their children should learn English and how to teach them. Now, I want to tell you how to teach them. Let's move to first part. Do you know what is vocabulary? Newman and Drawyer, as cited in Binns, said that vocabulary must know to communicate effectively, words in speaking or expressive vocabulary, and words in listening or receptive vocabulary. Next. And why vocabulary is important? McCarthy said, no matter how well the students learn grammar, no matter how successfully the sound of L2 are mastered, without words to express a wide range of meaning, communication just cannot happen in any meaningful way. Next. Now, I want to tell you steps to increase your children's vocabulary. First step is play word games. Second step is read book. Third step is show them to use thesaurus. And the last step is substitute synonyms. Next. Okay, let's go into first step, playing a word. Classic games like Scrabble and Boggle can function as fun way to learn your children's vocabulary. Keep a list of the different words them learned while playing the game, and then study that list from time to time. Second step is read together. Please remember, don't just read school books. Recognize your children's interests and find books that relate to them, as this will make them to read enjoyment. Third step is teach them to use thesaurus. Knowing how to use thesaurus will increase your children's vocabulary and will improve their writing. And the last step is substitute synonyms. This is an easy way to introduce your children's vocabulary to new words is to learn the synonym. While synonyms are typically words that mean the same thing, oftentimes a synonym is more descriptive than the original word. Next. In conclusion, you can teach and increase your children's learning vocabulary ability by playing word games, reading together, show them how to use thesaurus and substitute synonyms, keep guide and teach them. Next. That is my references. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Kak Anissa, for your great presentation. And now let's directly move to the next presenter. There is Kak Ani. Hello, Kak Ani.
Hello.
Okay, Kak Ani, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, if you are ready, you can start your presentation. 5 minutes from now, the time is yours.
All right. Thank you for the moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anusnia. I am student of English Education Department, Siliwangi University. In this occasion, I would like to present improving vocabulary mastery without memorizing. Right, next. Here I divided contents into 4 parts. The first is what is vocabulary, why we should improve our vocabulary mastery, how to improve vocabulary without memorize, and the last is conclusion. Around 1993, vocabulary is the words which alphabetically arranged can be shown by the certainty of discipline, group, author, book, and so forth. And then why we should improve our vocabulary mastery? McCarthy state, no matter how well the students learn grammar, no matter how successfully the sounds of L2 are mastered, without words to express a wide range of meanings, communication just cannot happen in any meaningful way. Next. So improving vocabulary is one of the important things that should be mastered by the students. As we know that if we want to improve vocabulary mastery, we have to memorize it one by one. But actually, we can improve vocabulary mastery without memorizing it. Steve Cockman said, in my opinion, the best way how to memorize vocabulary is not to memorize vocabulary. I have always found that trying to memorize vocabulary is an extremely low efficiency activity. No matter how hard you try, some words are going to stick and some words will not stick until much later. So it means that memorize vocabulary is not really necessary. We can improve vocabulary by doing something else like listening and reading. Next. Steve Cockman said, the more content you consume to listening and reading, the more likely you are to encounter vocabulary items again. And every time you encounter them them in different contexts. This makes the whole scopes of the words which meanings clear each time. You get a better sense of some ways that can be a good ways to memorize vocabulary. Next. The first is improve vocabulary to sing a song. With this method, the students not necessary to memorize vocabulary one by one, but they just listen to a song, then sing it. Gus Hendra state, using songs can increase students' vocabulary mastery and give motivation to the students in learning English. And the next is to short story. A short story is one of the alternative ways that can be good ways to improve vocabulary. Sulai has stated, the use of short story is effective to improve students' vocabulary. And the last is using poster or sticky notes. Put the poster or sticky notes on the wall or anywhere where it can be easy to see. Then we will subconsciously remember vocabulary by seeing the poster or sticky notes. Utomo said, sticky notes as a media of learning can influence the students' English vocabulary mastery because a media can give learning material and have a big impact on students' learning motivation. The next. Right. So the conclusion is we can improve our memorize such as to sing a song, short story, or use sticky notes. And this that I use. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Kak Ani. Let's give our highest appreciation to Kak Ani's presentation. And the next presenter there is Kak Ari. Hello, Kak Ari. Are you ready?
Hello, I'm ready.
Okay, Ari, can you tell us a little bit? Is there any specific reason why do you choose the topic that you will present today?
I choose the topic about techniques in teaching vocabulary because we are as educational in English department, so we have to know about technique in teaching vocabulary when teach students.
Okay, so interesting. Okay, 5 minutes from now, the time is yours, please.
Okay, thank you now. Wait for the PPT. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to this webinar series. My name is Arif Fahri Ahmad Suintang, a student in Siliwangi University, English Department, English Education Department. Today I want to show you present about techniques in teaching vocabulary. Next slide, please. There are three key, and third is vocabulary. And let's move to the um, vocabulary. But before we learn about these techniques, when they teach or present a new vocabulary to the students, and then it needs to be learned and practiced or revised to prevent the students from forgetting. And according to Take It, depends on some factors such as the content, time availability, and its value for the learners. And here are some techniques of teaching vocabulary stated by Brewster, Ellis, and Jared in 1992. First is using object. Two is drawing. Third is using illustration and pictures. Fourth is contrast. Five, enumeration. And six, mime, expression, and gesture. Seven, guessing from context. And eight, eliciting. And nine is translation. And I will explain the three of nine of these techniques. The first one is, next slide. The first one is using object. These techniques include the use of realia, visual aids, and demonstration. And the function is to help learner in remembering vocabulary better. And according to TechEdge 2008, our memory for objects and pictures is very reliable, and visual techniques can act as cues for remembering the word. And also Gern and Redmond state in 1986 that real object techniques is appropriately employed for beginners or young learners when presenting concrete vocabulary. So, for example, when you have a classroom activity, when you need to present new vocabulary, and you can use an object to bring in the classroom, or you can even use your body to present and to demonstrate what is about the vocabulary. So it means something you can use your five sense as long as you is a concrete nouns. So next to number two. Number two is drawing. This technique is using object drawn in the whiteboard or blackboard or on a fast card, and it can help young learner easily understand and realize the main points that they have learned in the classroom. And I think it might be interesting when you have draw something and ask the student to guess what is that. So for example, you have just draw something in whiteboard and ask the student what is that, or because nowadays most of the student use online class activity, so there are features in Zoom meeting where you can try to draw something, and there are a symbol in the left side of the screen, symbol pen, and you can try to draw something. For example, I will try to draw something. It's a little bit hard. So as you can see, we can draw something in this blackboard, and you can just erase it and try draw something else. And I think will be interesting to students to guess what is that and teach them English vocabulary. Okay, next to number 3. And the number 3 is using illustration and pictures. And I think this technique is the easiest one of 9 of the techniques, because what you can do just bring or collect pictures on the internet, because there are a lot of resources on it, and you can try to pick some picture to the classroom, and pictures can connect students' prior knowledge to a new story, and in the process help them learn a new words. And those picture you can use is, for example, like poster, flashcard, wall chart, magazine pictures, board drawings, and many more. And for example, as you can see, there are a picture on it on the screen, and at the first glance, you might think that a guy walking in the road with some things in his hands, and that's called funambulism, and the funambulism or thigh group walking. So let's move to the next slide. And this is my references, and that's all from me. I think the 3 of techniques from Gerard Ellis and in 1992, and I hope you can understand these 3 of techniques. And I'm sorry if I had a mistake. Sorry, and thank you for your great attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to the moderator.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Kak Ari. It was an excellent delivery by Kak Ari. And we can move to the last presenter of today's webinar. There is Kak Tartila. Hello, Kak Tartila.
Hello.
Okay, are you ready, Kak Tartila?
Yes.
Okay, if you are ready, you can start your presentation 5 minutes from now.
All right. Thank you for moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tartila Fitrianisa. In this occasion, I'd like to present about improving vocabulary through short story. Next, please. The contents of my presentation are divided into 3 parts. First, definition of vocabulary and short story. Second, why can short story improve vocabulary? And third, how to improve vocabulary through short story. Let's move to definition. Next, please. All right. Learn or improve vocabulary is important for the learners. According to Richard and Rogers, vocabulary is one of the most important aspects of language proficiency, which is the foundation of how well learners speak, write, listen, and read. One of the ways to improve vocabulary is reading a short story. Nazara claims that short story is the works of fiction that are shorter than novels and written in prose and narrative style. Next. Bethy argues that short story makes learners helpful to think about social and moral, also entertain. And then, why can short story improve vocabulary? Because short story also suggested to improve vocabulary. Others said that reading a short story helps learners improve vocabulary. Blasowitz and Fishers claims that short story is an effective way to learn vocabulary because learners who read widely have extensive vocabularies. Next. The example of short story is The Tortoise and the Hare. According to Oxford, The Tortoise and the Hare is one of the famous short stories by Aesop fable, and the story tells about a race between the tortoise and the hare. Next. How to improve vocabulary through short story. Nash and Snowing state that first, read a short story. Choose the short story that you like and read it. Second, find a new word. Third, infer the meaning of a new word from the context based on using pieces of information in the context. Fourth, use dictionary to make sure the meaning of a new word, whether is it right or no, and it will improve learners' vocabulary. So, reading a short story is a good way to improve vocabulary. Next. Next, please. Okay, these are the references that I use. And that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Back to moderator.
All right, thank you, Kartantila. And that was the last presenter of today's webinar session. Thank you once again, Kartantila. And now we can move to the next session, the Q&A session. And in the chat box, it seems that is already one question from Kak Ani Rani. I have a question. Do you think vocabulary should become one independent subject in university? Why or why not? Okay, is there anyone who want to try answer these questions?
May I now?
Okay, please.
Okay, thank you, Kani, for the question. That's a great question. In my opinion, no, because learning vocabulary could be learned in many subjects, such as intensive reading, extensive reading, even in pronunciation too, we can learn it. That's all. Maybe there's any additional for my friends. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kasalsa, for your answers. Is there any additional answers from the others?
May I?
Okay, please.
Thank you for the question, Kak Ani. In my opinion, vocabulary shouldn't become one independent subject in university, but it can be an independent subject in junior high school or senior or vocational high school, because in university we need to apply to apply our vocabulary to express our idea, our knowledge in writing task, or maybe in reading, and I think if we learn vocabulary before entering university or college, it will make us easy to understand or to learn English, because vocabulary is a basic things to learn language skills, both of, such as in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kapuput and Kasalsa, for your answers. Karani, is the answer that Kasalsa and Kapuput gave is already enough? Okay, it seems that Kaani is satisfied with the answer that Kasalsa and Kapuput gave. And it is such a pity that the time that we have is already out. And I'm sorry if there's any mistake that we made in this webinar session. Thank you for all your participation and contribution. I hope that the whole presentation that presented today gives you a lot of benefits. Thank you once again. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
You guys could leave the room.